You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. My name is Nancy Solari. So happy to have you here today. We are going to be talking about improving our health, strengthening our mindset, and really bringing stability into our life. Who doesn't want that? I mean, I pretty much want that on a daily basis, but life does give us those twists and turns and ups and downs and the unexpected. So we can't always assume that every day is going to be smooth sailing. We are going to be challenged. But having the right tool, having a support team, a strong community to turn to will help you when you're trying to stay stable in an environment that may sometimes be toxic, or to have and live a healthier life. You know, a lot of times when we are ill, when we are in a toxic state, it's because we haven't taken the control in our life that we need to set ourselves up for success. You know, a lot of times we are people pleasers. We might try to do and wear ourselves out. We might stay in relationships too long that we know are not serving our higher and greater purpose, yet too afraid to leave because the unknown of who I might end up with, who wants me, right? Who hasn't said that? You know, and all those people out there considering a career transition, you know, not knowing what the next stages of your life are going to look like, that can be a scary thought. But that's why the Living Full Out show is here. This is your time to call in for advice. We have the 800 line open. It's 800-333-0001. In fact, we're going to go to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out show.
Hi.
Hi, welcome to the show. Tell us what's going on.
My name is Crystal, and my question is, I've been wanting to expand into a new business, but I'm kind of having a hard time finding the right job for like the field I want to be in. And my question is, how can I make more opportunities for myself professionally other than ads online or if they aren't hiring?
Well, so here's the question for you. What is it that excites you? What would you most want to do? If you could get paid to do something, what would that be?
Well, I love helping people, and I love homes. I want to be in real estate one day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So knowing that that's where your passion is, now you just need to turn to people who are in that career. You know, it might be helpful to look in the newspaper and see, you know, who are some of the top producers in your area, and perhaps call them up and say, you know what, can I take you out to lunch? I'd love to, you know, find out more about how you got started. You know, would it be possible for me to shadow you for a day? Are you hiring any interns or assistants? You know, really putting yourself out there. I believe the Living Full Out way, anyway, is to go the road less traveled. So the more you can ask questions, do research, seek resources, that's where you want to go. Have you considered any of those options?
Not yet. I'm just kind of worried that, you know, if they aren't hiring, they're going to just, like, not really care or something. But that's a good idea, definitely.
Well, so here is the really, really good news. We live in a really big world. And sometimes we feel as though we're small fish in a big pond. But I want you to change that mindset around, and I want you to picture yourself opportunities. If you knock on one door and somebody says no, keep knocking until you get a yes. And if real estate, for example, is your chosen career, then think of all the different agencies that are out there, all the different brokerages that you could turn to. There's boutiques, there's the large ones that everyone's heard of all across America and internationally. So you have a lot of opportunity. It's just, you know, be prepared that you're going to get some no's. But the one yes could change your future.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Really
You're
helpful.
welcome. You're welcome. So, stay in touch with us. Let us know how things go and call back into the show with an update. We'd love to hear.
Thank you. I will.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye. So a really great question. You can hear even in her voice that there's a lot of uncertainty there. There's some insecurity perhaps, and just what do I do? Like, where am I going? And that's a very scary thought, to think what direction do I go into? How do I get started? All those how and choose and whats can overwhelm us. But remember, just take one bite at a time. We tend to put together in life these large, long to-do lists. And sometimes we make them so long that we can never even complete them in, let alone one day, 1 week, or 1 year. So put together goals that are attainable. And when you put together a goal, put a time parameter around that goal. And then even with the time parameter, put a reward, or even in some cases, a consequence if you don't achieve that goal. I love massages. When I achieve a goal, I treat myself to massage, a manicure, a pedicure, you name it. I'm a girly girl. But if I don't do something that I set out to do, then you know what? I might have to miss a get together with some friends. I might have to just stay home one night. I might have to do something I don't want to do. Go to the gym and do an exercise I wouldn't normally enjoy. Whatever that would be. So consider in your life where you can challenge yourself, yet also take action, and that will bring more stability in your life. Believe it or not, you're taking action. You're in control of your life, and knowing that so much is possible. So many opportunities are ahead of you. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Welcome to the show. Hello, are you there, caller? We might be having a technical challenge with the caller, and we'll come back to them, but I'll wait to hear if my producer has them back on the line. So just remember that when considering strengthening your health and bringing stability into your life, sometimes we give power away. Sometimes we allow the people in our life to influence our decisions. We seek approval so much that we doubt our decisions. Don't doubt your decisions. Remember, you were born into this world because you are you. You have your own mind, your own heart, your own core, your own beliefs, your own spirituality, whatever all that may be. That makeup is you, and there's only one of you. People might say, oh, you have a twin in the world. Well, that's just looks. When you take away the looks, which is rather ironic in that I'm legally blind because I don't see people, what really matters is who you are inside. What really matters is what you have to say. And I wanted to actually end with that in terms of what you have to say, because what you have to say is very important. What you say to yourself, the tonality, the self-talk, all of that goes into whether or not you're living a stable, healthy life. I got word that our caller is back. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, I'm wonderful. Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm excited.
So tell us, what's going on today?
I want to talk a little bit about. So I'm sort of I feel that I kind of need to change. I live with my brother. My grandparents are close by. I'm here in the area here, and I'm close to a lot of things. A lot of people I love, and a lot of people that care about me. So very stable. But I'm at the point where I kind of need to break out. I lived away in New York for some time, and I kind of need to get away. I feel that my routine here has gotten a little old, and I'm a little bit in need of a change. But my concern is that these people who are close to me, I think they enjoy me being here, and I think certain things about my lifestyle, they depend on me being here. And I'm a little concerned about moving away or about making a change, because I'm wondering it may upset things for them, and then also for myself, how I'll react to not having that support system around. So I'm not sure what to put more weight on.
Well, you actually bring up a really good point. I only have a little time here to give you my advice, but I'm telling you, your question is right on point. Here's the thing. In life, all we want is to be valued. All we want is to have made a difference in people's lives, right? And you've done that. But you've done that so well that now they depend on you. You're kind of the glue there that keeps a lot of those people together. But as wonderful and as proactive and as dependable as you are, you can find ways to help fill in the gaps when you do leave. So consider the people that do depend on you and seek out resources to fill that gap. You know, if let's say you oftentimes transport somebody, you want to find other transportation options for that person. Let's say you do things for someone who maybe is disabled or elderly. Well, again, you might want to find ways to bring in either low-cost care or high-cost care, whatever you can afford to help that person. The thing is this is your life to live, and we don't know what chapter in your book you're on right now, but it's time to turn the page. It's time to start a new chapter. Has you taking that step forward that you desperately want, which is to make that change. Everybody who loves you only wants you to be happy, evolve, and grow. So while it may seem uncomfortable when you tell them you're leaving, or it may seem uncomfortable for the few months following, I promise you this: to see you happy, to see you thriving, to see you living your purpose brings them joy. Do you get that?
Yeah, no, that's a good way of looking at it. I mean, because my concern is me not being here. I mean, even regardless of the things I can do, it's more just me being here and being able to be around and that interaction. But
well, I personally adore the fact that that's who you are at the core. But, I want you to step out there. I want you to follow your heart. If you are desperately seeking to make a change in your life, and maybe that's a physical change, I say do it, because you can always take a step back. That's the one wonderful thing about home. Home is where the heart is. They're always going to be there for you. Okay? So we unfortunately have to go to commercial break, but call in, let us know how it goes. And
I will. Thanks so much.
Thank you. And for everybody listening, we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Isn't this dinner pro? Jeanette and Bill did so much planning, and the house looks great.
Well, it was almost canceled. Did you hear that Bill was really sick with the flu 2 weeks ago?
No, I had no idea. I've been so busy at work. But my coworker's toddler was in the hospital with flu, too. Is Bill okay?
It was pretty serious and aggravated his asthma. Bill got sick quickly with a high fever. Fortunately, Jeanette got him to the doctor right away. The doctor said it was flu and prescribed a medication that helped him get back on his feet.
I didn't know flu was so serious until I heard Bill say he felt like he'd been hit by a truck. He missed a big meeting at work.
Well, thank goodness Jeanette had gotten her flu shot. Because, she's expecting.
What? Oh, man.
I guess that was another thing you guys didn't know either.
A message from the Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I can't come to the phone right now because I'm abusing my children. Not just verbally, but physically. I'll get back to you.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so call 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. Brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Today, you hit the snooze bar. You checked your email. You checked your fantasy football team. You rejected an insulting trade offer. You ate your lunch. You did all the things that one normally does. 75-mile-per-hour hurricane blows through your city, leaving it in a state of ruin. You never know when the day before is the day before. Prepare for tomorrow at ready.gov/today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I hope everyone's day is just going great. I mean, this is the time to get motivated. I get motivated by all of you. And thank you again to those last callers that called in our first segment because they brought up some great questions. We are talking about living a healthier life and finding stability in our lives. And, you know, that is just kind of the secret to life. How do you achieve that? How do you find that? Well, I got to tell you, we found an amazing guest for today's show, Donna Hartley. Now, her story is so wild with twists and turns that I don't want to give it all away, but I'm going to start off by telling you that she has survived a plane crash, she survived cancer, she survived a heart attack, you name it. And this woman has lived and gone on to do great things. So welcome, Donna Hartley.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be on your show.
Oh, Donna, you are so inspirational from head to toe. Honestly, you are just amazing. And we want to jump right into it. You know, like so many, you found yourself at 30 just completely in discontent. Can you share with our callers a little bit about where your mindset was, and then share with us about this first big event in your life that occurred that made you go, I got to make a change?
Well, I left the East Coast. I went to the University of Hawaii. I became Miss Hawaii. I went to Los Angeles thinking I could be an actress, and it was a world that didn't work for me. So I hit the rock bottom. You know, 7 years I struggled. I was financially out of money, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and those negative thoughts got in my brain. I don't want to live, and I really meant it. And on a March 1st, 1978, I was flying back to Hawaii to MC the Miss Hawaii pageant, so I thought my life would change. But, you know, I still was focusing on suicide, killing myself. Nothing had worked for years. No boyfriend, no money, no career. And that morning of March 1st, going down the runway at 167 miles per hour, the DC-10 aircraft I was on exploded and burned to the ground, and I saw people burn to death around me.
I mean, no one can really even imagine what that must have felt like, smelt like, you name it. We've all sat there in planes. They do these, you know, the flight attendant gives the instructions on what to do if you get in a crash and all of that. When this occurred, did you go right into survival mode? Were you paralyzed in fear? What happened?
Well, luckily I had changed my seat to an aisle seat, 6 rows from the exit. When they did those, you know, instructions, I paid attention for some reason, counted the rows. So I had to feel my way through the smoke and the flame, and the aisle was just jammed with people. And I really thought it was over. I was going to burn to death. I fell to the wrong side of the plane. I looked at those flames inside of me. I scrambled back up. There was no room to get out, and there was just inches. Somehow it opened up a little bit more, and I was able to slide out, and my one leg was behind me, and I thought it was just going to be ripped off. It was just, I just didn't think I was going to make it. When I hit the bottom of the slide, which had started to burn, I fell into all the fuels. So now my clothing is soaked with all this fuels, and I'm inches from the flame. And
that's a pretty scary thought, Donna, because you were the last to get off the plane, and here the chute that the slide was burning. I mean, seconds to get down that slide before the slide would have burnt away, and you would have no exit. Amazing.
Absolutely. That's how seconds just in something like that really, really matter. I was soaked, my clothing, and I'm about to ignite, you know, but I didn't. I was able to limp away. I mean, my one leg, the sandal was behind it. I was limping. I had taken all the pressure of the one leg. It was, you know, I had bruised my ankle. I couldn't hardly walk, but I limped and limped as fast as I could to get away. And as I did, I heard more explosions behind me, and that door that I came out of was totally blocked. And
Do you know how many people died or got injured that day?
4 burned to death, and 90 ended up in the hospital, and most of that was in the burn ward.
Wow. And for everybody listening, you got to understand this plane crash was at LAX and sliding into a major road called Sepulveda Boulevard. I mean, kudos to the pilots for not having you go right into that major street. That was pretty impressive. Having gone through that experience, what I admire so much about you, I would have never flown again, but you anteed up again. You literally flew 3 days later to Hawaii to hold to your commitment.
I did. Now, there's a degree of shock that sets in. I literally got on the plane. I cried almost the entire way to Hawaii. A shock. You're functioning. Somebody says something to you, and you react like, 30 seconds later. It just takes a while. I was there to MC the Miss Hawaii pageant, which I did. I landed like my first national commercial because, my attitude had totally shifted. And I did it there. I came back from Hawaii, again, in shock, and then had a lot of work done on my back and on my neck and on my skin. And then I really had to understand, I'm alive. Why am I alive? Then you have to go through that survivor thing of why are you still here? You saw these other people burn to death. You saw these other people get injured. How comes I'm still walking around? So
what's the answer? What's the answer to that question? Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, it wasn't my time. I had a destiny. I got an assignment in the plane crash. I was to speak and to write, which I do, and to help people help themselves. I did not value my life. I did not appreciate who I was. So it really was a wake-up call that, hey, life is precious for everyone. And I really started appreciating everybody, even the taxi cab driver that drove me home that day, and I was in tatters with blankets wrapped around me and people that checked in on me. I started to value every minute instead of projecting what I should be. But right now, this minute was important. I mean, it was a struggle. It was a struggle to even deal with that.
Well, and I'm so glad that you're being so vulnerable and so honest today, because for everybody who's ever said, I just want to die, or I don't want to live anymore, if you're thinking about suicide, your story is very on point for the fact that when we're going through the fire, when we're in the pits of life, we just have to hold on. We have to keep moving forward. And hopefully for everybody, it doesn't take a plane crash to have that reality moment. But, there you were, you went through the fire, you felt the fire, literally, and you came out the other end. And didn't you go on to even adopt a little girl?
I did. And that was something I had really, really wanted in my life. I had dated a lot. I had gone with a guy for a long time, and then he broke up, and then I was in my 40s. So I had really learned if your life doesn't come exactly the way you think it's supposed to, then you have to be proactive. So I put in for adoption, and it did take me 11 adoptions, and it did take me 7 years, but I got a baby girl that basically looks like me in a lot of ways, and she's beautiful, and she's been the joy of my life. Of course, a child is the hardest thing in your life when you're raising a child. I'm starting to think a plane crash might have been easier at times, but
that is funny.
Do that to you. But what a blessing! And this is the other thing: if love doesn't come the way you think it's supposed to come, you have to really accept yourself, and then you have to build that love around you. And that's what my daughter and I, and yes, I have a great cat too, have done. It's not the traditional family, but we have built love. So out of that plane crash, I learned that I had to love myself first before anything would happen in my life. And then with understanding that, I was able to adopt a daughter later on in life and say, this is the family I've created. This is the love I have. Not perfect, we're all learning, but I'm creating the life I want.
Well, and I appreciate that so much, because a lot of times I think we forget that we have options. There's so many people that in this day and age put career first and the stage of family a little later in life. And, those babies don't always come when you think they're going to. And so the fact that you had the tenacity and the fire and the passion in your heart and soul to press forward through 11 different adoptions, for everybody listening, that is a heartbreaking journey. I've had quite a few friends go through it, and to find your little girl and to have it be such a perfect match, I mean, that is just rewards right there alone for all that you went through.
And Nancy, this is the other thing. If I would have committed suicide, I wouldn't have had this opportunity to have a daughter and live it. So I am so glad that plane crash, as ugly as it was and as heart-wrenching and scary, it put me on a path that I could live a different life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's interesting how we get so stuck that we don't even realize what we're meant to do and be in the world is the impact we make on others. I mean, if you had committed suicide and actually had done that, that little girl would not have had the mother she has today, which is somebody that is so inspirational. We do have to be going to a commercial break shortly, but, there's more to your story. I mean, more heartbreak, unfortunately. And really, although you had found stability in your life, your world kind of turned upside down again, and you are seeking stability. So when we commercial break, we're going to come back to you, Donna, and make sure that we address those next stages of your life.
Great. Thank you.
So we'll be right back. And for everybody listening, again, this is Nancy Solari, the Living Full Out Show, and we're talking about health and stability. And Donna's story has so many lessons that we can learn and take from it. Now is the time to live. Now is the time to bring that stability in your life. Those goals that you think are so unattainable, those words that you say to yourself, like, I want to give up, I want to commit suicide. I want you to take those and throw them in the garbage today. Those are just words. Those are just negative thoughts. That is not your destiny. So we'll be coming right back after this commercial break with Donna Hartley. And then the fourth segment, we're going to be taking more of your calls. Again, that number is 800-333-0001, 800-333-0001. We'll be right back.
Matey, how's the fishing this morning?
Shh! You'll scare the fish!
Oh, nonsense. Fishies love the safety pirate. Now tell me, I see you're wearing your life jacket, and that's mighty smart of you. But have you taken a boat and safety course?
I have. Now, could you please leave?
So you know to stay alert by not mixing alcohol and boating, don't you?
I do.
But I bet you didn't know it's dangerous to speed on the water. Now, did you, Turbo?
Actually, I knew that.
Well, smarty pants. You seem to know it all, don't you?
Yep. Maybe even more than a safety pirate.
Watch your mouth, sailor!
When you're out on the water this year, make sure you're being safe. Learn the boating rules and watch out for other boaters.
And remember to boat smart. Boat safe.
A message from the National Safe Boating Council.
I want to change some things.
I want the moms where I live to have childcare they can trust.
I want to make sure my little brother and his friends have a safe place to play.
I want to help more kids graduate from high school.
Help more hardworking families learn how to budget and save.
I want more of my neighbors to have access to health care.
Want to make a difference? There are so many ways you can. Help create opportunities for everyone in your community.
I want to change what I see around here.
United Way is creating real, lasting change where you live by focusing on the building blocks of a better life: education, income, and health.
I just want to see more smiles on my sidewalks.
Reach out a hand to one and influence the condition of all. Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. For more, visit United Way at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about health and stability. How do we live a healthier life? How do we find that that exhale, that stability in our life, that moment where we feel so free and we can do anything and we're living on purpose. That may seem like an up in the clouds thought, but it is possible. We just have to stay tenacious and take action. In fact, right now we're talking to Donna Hartley, our very special guest, and her first segment just a second ago was very inspiring. But right now we're going to be talking about other chapters of her life, other challenges that she overcame. And so I'd like to welcome back Donna Hartley. Welcome.
Welcome. It's great.
So, Donna, today we're talking about getting stability in one's life. And obviously you went through a lot of that with the plane crash and adopting your daughter. But then, even in the next stages of your life, you were going through a lot of family stress. You were dealing with a lawsuit and all of that, and that really caused dis-ease in your body. Can you tell us about that and what occurred?
Well, I had moved out of L.A. to a mountain home, was raising my daughter there. My parents did not accept that I adopted a daughter, so it's really on my own. My parents are divorced. My real father passes away. I am in a court battle with a third stepmother for 2.5 years. Now, the nastiness, the ugliness, the back to court battle, if you let that negativity get to you, and I didn't think I was dealing with it for 2.5 years and raising my daughter, but I thought I was functioning. My mother on the East Coast was in a nursing home. She had had a stroke. She was paralyzed. Well, that negative energy that I was dealing with and lack of sleep and traveling East Coast, West Coast, finally settled in my body, in my left thigh, in the form of stage 3 melanoma.
I'm just sitting here thinking, here you have a daughter, you're the only solo parent responsible for her. I mean, talk about extra stress.
Right, and then the plane crash was March 1st. They gave me the diagnosis on my leg on a March 1st. So it's hitting me. I mean, there's no way I could miss this lesson. Now, the doctors had to make out my will. I had to get to San Francisco, UC San Francisco. I had to get a team of doctors. I had to be persistent. They didn't have openings. I had to keep calling. I had to be proactive. I really didn't know with this disease whether I was going to make it. My girlfriends, my friends showed up. They took care of me. They took care of my daughter. I really freaked. I lost 20 pounds. Anyway, I got in finally with the doctors down there. They had a team of doctors. They said I might have to move to San Francisco to have all this treatment done. It was so scary, and I became very proactive. I said, perfect health, perfect surgery, perfect recovery. My daughter is only 6. That's what I wanted. I wanted to live for her. And she'd look at me with those big eyes of hers, and she wanted her mommy, but I didn't know if I was going to be there, and there was no place for her to go in the will.
Well, you told me a story about when you and her were ice skating that really has touched my heart since we had this conversation. Will you share with our listeners about that moment?
I will. Nancy, it makes me cry because it was such an unbelievable moment in my life. I went to the top of Squaw Valley, and this is winter, and we went ice skating. I wanted to share as many moments as I could with my daughter. And while we were up there, my little daughter Mariah said, Mommy, I wish I had the boo-boo in my leg. And I said, why? And she said, then you'd be healthy. I mean, I couldn't believe a 6-year-old could say that. I said, just stay here. So I skated around the ice rink, went halfway, looked up at the sky and those big puffy clouds, and I said, this is the deal. Are you listening? I signed up to raise my daughter. Let me raise her. And, it's not about me, but let me raise my daughter. Well, it all changed. That was a Sunday, and a Monday they called. They had an opening in San Francisco at UC San Francisco Melanoma Center. I was moved up till that Thursday. I went in for surgery. They did 3 procedures in one day, and they kept my lab reports for 11 days. 11 days, that's unheard of. Then I had to drive back to San Francisco. Well, I couldn't drive, but a girlfriend had to drive me back, and they couldn't believe it. I was scheduled for all this treatment afterwards, and they found no cancer in my body anywhere.
The cancer had just, in a miracle way, gone away. I mean, that is like, I mean, that is just one of those things that can't be explained, but yet is everything that everyone cries for and hopes for those that are sick in their life. So everybody listening, miracles do happen. You can't give up. And, you know, the thing is, you could have basked in that pleasure, that freedom of knowing that you're cured from cancer. But then again, another challenge came 4 years later. What happened then?
4 years later. Now my daughter is 10 years old. 11 people, everybody has passed on in my family. I've lost all my family members, my cousins, friends. It was a very difficult time that way. And when I was young, my heart had a slight little murmur. But, you know, I'm in my late 50s by that time, and nothing. And all of a sudden, my valve goes sideways. And it was my intuition. I'm a meditator now. And that little voice of meditating said, go to the heart specialist, go to the heart specialist. I just thought they were going to check it. But my valve was collapsing. I had 2 weeks, they said, to have a heart attack. I had to get in the hospital immediately. You know, within the next 10 days, they were going to cut my chest open, and they were going to put a new aortic valve. That is your main valve. Now, again, I had to make out my will. Again, I had to really get that practice that I was going to live through this. Not for me. I never really focused on me. I really focused on my daughter. That was the reason I had to live. And maybe that's why she came in my life so late, is because she's the one that kept me alive. And
she's your angel.
They went to surgery, and they kept me asleep for 24 hours afterwards, so the valve hits, and I woke up 24 hours later, and then had to begin the rehab to recover.
So you survived this plane crash. You defy the odds of adopting a daughter when it's so hard to do so. You survive cancer. Then you go through this heart valve surgery and survive that. What is the takeaway? I mean, when you reflect back on your eulogy a few minutes ago and you cried with sad tears and happy tears, how do you make sense of all this?
Well, sometimes you just can't make sense of it. I was given a life of challenges, but I was also given a life of blessings to help other people through what I do. Yes, every one of those lessons was a major wake-up call. Number one, the plane crash, I didn't appreciate my life. I didn't value it. Number two, the cancer, I let the negativity of the outside world and people affect me and my health. And number three, I didn't really love myself, Nancy. That's why I got that new heart and the new valve for my heart. It was time for me to say, you are not perfect, but you are here right now, and you have to be of value. You have to love yourself, love your life, and be of service. So those three messages hit me. You know, I think some people they get it quicker, they understand it, you know, and I came from all that dysfunctional in my life and a very tough upcoming, you know, when I grew up, and I carried some of that baggage with me. And I know now you can't let the past determine your future. So I had yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so what do you say to somebody today who's listening, whose heart is heavy, who's can't sleep at night, who is carrying the world's burdens on their shoulders, not just other people's, but their own? You know, that I'm just so tired. I'm tired. What do you say to those people?
Oh, God. I have been there so many times, so many sleepless nights. And I want to say, first of all, you don't get through life without some of those time periods in your life. Nobody gets through life. So don't be looking at somebody else and say, their life is happy, mine is not. Because everybody has challenges. So this is what you have to understand during those heavy times. The heavy times come to teach you lessons, to open up your eyes. Maybe you are in some self-destructive patterns in your life. That must stop. That's why you have the heavy times. And they can be sad times, that you're losing someone that you love, that you cherish. Is it fair? No. Is it right? No. But it happens. So how can you make those moments special in your life for that person? How can you love unconditionally? How can you forgive without carrying the baggage with you? So I always say, what is the lesson for me? When something happens, it's not good, it's not bad. what is the lesson that I can learn from this and carry on? And it's tough. I'm not telling anyone it's easy. I'm just saying that it is part of your life lesson when you're on this planet.
And you had a lot of lessons, but if you had to sum it up into one lesson, what was the one lesson that you got?
I didn't love myself enough. I didn't value myself enough. I didn't appreciate that there was a higher being. I didn't appreciate that there was wonderful people in my life. I didn't appreciate that there was opportunities. I focused sometimes on the negativity and the lack and what I didn't have. So I would say now when people say, what's my mission in life, it's pretty simple. It's to love every day, love everyone in my life, and to serve, to help people.
Well, Donna, we love you, honestly. I mean, I'm speaking for everybody listening in the Living Full Out community, but, you know, you've given us a gift today by sharing your story and teaching us those lessons and those reminders. And I want everybody to not just listen to the show today, but go back and listen to it again, because I know through this interview, I felt a warmth in my heart. I wanted to cry with Donna. And those moments in life when we have that connection, even here over the radio, that's pretty awesome. So thank you, Donna, for being a part of our show and keep us posted.
It was my honor.
Thank you. You're the best. And I want you to have a great day, and you're always welcome back at the community. Thank you.
That sounds great to me. Thank you. And you have a great one, too.
Thank you, Donna. Well, I got to say, my hands are kind of warm and a little palmy, sweaty going on because I was nervous for her. But that's the great thing about life. The nerves is what keeps us going. So we'll be coming back after this next break with your calls, 800-333-0001. We'll be back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts, now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is President Barack Obama. In the story of America, the greatest chapters are moments of challenge, when we see people serving their country and one another. Volunteers who step forward into hospital corridors and church basements, along levees and fire lines. And the next chapter is yours to help write. Sign up to volunteer at usaservice.org. That's usaservice.org. Let's renew America together.
A message from Renew America Together, brought to you by the Ad Council.
The secret to finding stability in your life is, first of all, believing in yourself, having confidence in the decisions that you make. When life gives you those challenges, it's not about giving up. It's not about letting those challenges wash over you and cause you to doubt yourself. It's about standing up for your life. It's about grabbing hold of your dreams and, enrolling people in your life. If you need a resource, go get it. If you need support, ask for it. It is never too late to live your life full out and live a healthy, stable life.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome back to the Living Full Out Show. Wow, we are in our last segment of the show, which I'm always surprised about. It just goes so fast. But I want to thank Donna Hartley again for her very touching story. I'm not kidding. I was nervous for her the whole time, just with so many twists and turns. But we all have those moments in our life. For some of us, it may have been going through a heartbreaking divorce or breakup. It may have been getting fired or losing your job. It may be going from one health challenge to another. But again, as she was saying, those moments in our life, they're always going to be there, but they help us to remind ourselves of how strong we are, what we are capable of. For me, going legally blind, I remember thinking, well, in true denial, I'm not going to go blind. Well, surely, over the years, I've lost my vision. I'm still legally blind today, so I see some things, but a lot of things are gone. But I don't have that doubt anymore because I've built a world, a community where people are my eyes. Nancy still has the same heart and soul and passion and fire and all that. That hasn't gone away. But I haven't built my world to be dependent on what I visually see. But my vision for my life has stayed strong. And your vision for your life can also stay strong. And know that your vision for your life is going to change. As we evolve, as we grow older, it's just a natural progression that our desires are going to change, our needs are going to change, our environments are going to change. So don't be scared of the unknown. I promise you this, when the unknown is ahead of you, and yes, we already know that some things aren't going to go right, there's so much pleasure ahead of you as well. But you don't get the pleasure if you don't take the cons as well. It's kind of a tricky deal like that. So we're going to go back to the phone lines. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi. Welcome to the show. Hi.
How are you?
So tell us. I am wonderful. You sound excited and great, but tell us what's going on.
So I am in the market looking for a new job. I currently work in the public sector as an assistant, and I'm looking to move up in the career path, but in the private sector. Is there any advice you can give me on how I can make my resume or make myself stand out as I'm trying to take the next step out of an assistant position from the public sector into the private sector?
Well, absolutely. And I think the first thing that you want to consider, and if you could share with us, what is that dream job? What is it that you'd like to do?
I would really like to make the transition into doing like a director of marketing. Like that's the final, the end goal would be to move higher up and be the person for marketing. But moving into that transitional phase right now.
And if you became that person, if you were like doing marketing and living your dream and making a difference, what would that mean to you to actually have that job?
Man, happiness, and I feel like I wouldn't be working anymore because it's fun and it's something that would make me so happy and fulfilled.
And to feel that fulfillment, that's where you're going to get stability, right? Because you would feel like your life was more stable. You were living your purpose. You were living your dream, the money you wanted to make, and could do more things, right?
Absolutely.
To have that stability, to have that happiness, how would that open up opportunities for you in your world?
You know, I'm really a people person, so like the opportunities of being able to meet and help and like also be able to mentor others would make it even better for me.
And you know, the interesting thing about that is in this journey of our conversation, I now know that you want to do marketing as a living. I now know that you just want to be happy. You're not asking for the world. You just want happiness. And you want to mentor. You want to guide and teach others. And when you keep that vision in mind, and I would continue to go further down the line with yourself in terms of your wants and desires, keep that vision near and dear to your heart. Now, the question is, what actions do I take to get to those visions? So you want to think to yourself, who are some successful marketing professionals that you may know or don't know? Which companies would you like to work for? What dream company would you like to work for? And don't let the size of those companies scare you off, because it just takes knocking on that door and being an intern, being an assistant. For some people, it might be being a PA if they want to get into broadcasting or another field. Knock on that door and just ask. Shadow one of those professionals. It's just really important to continually put yourself out there. And also, you've heard about this, I'm sure, before, the as-if factor. Don't position yourself like you aren't that person. Be that person today. Take classes, better your craft, constantly develop your marketing skill set, because you are that person. You're not in that job yet, but you are that person. So that when you get that interview for that great job, it isn't like you're struggling to fit into what they do. You already are that person. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
And there's a lot of different resources where you could connect with these professionals. LinkedIn is a great resource. I've met so many wonderful professionals on there that I've connected with through our radio show and speaking. And are you using LinkedIn or other sites?
Oh, I'm a firm believer in the power of LinkedIn.
There you go. See, girl to my own heart. I love it. So the
LinkedIn
thing is
and networking events, all there.
There you go. So what you want to do when you do contact some of these professionals and you do ask them about their career path, have them look at your resume. Maybe even talk to someone at an HR department in a company you'd like to work for. See if you can take them out to lunch. Have them look at your resume. What do you need on there to get that job? There's a lot of things you can do. Interning is fantastic to get great work experience. You're obviously a very successful assistant, but it's just building up that resume to show how dynamic you are. That mentor, that marketing professional that you are. So definitely keep us. Absolutely, and definitely keep us posted. We'd love to hear about those interviews that you have, and when you do get that dream job, we want to support you there as well.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
Bye-bye. So again, what a great call. Again, just looking for stability, just looking for happiness. We've all started somewhere. I remember my first job was working at a Tony Roma's. Now, I didn't think it was going to be my dream job forever, and it didn't last long until I spilled a plate of food on a customer. That didn't go so well. Kind of got fired. But here's the thing. We all start somewhere, but what I did learn in that job was that I had great people skills, just like our last caller. Then you want to find out, okay, if you got people skills, what other talents do you have? Okay, I'm good at technology, or I learn things quickly, or I think of all the things that you do well. Those skills are not by accident. They are a piece of who you are, and they will allow you to flourish if you really strengthen those skills, becoming a good writer, becoming a good researcher, becoming good at sales. All of those things can be learned, whether that be in education, in internships, on the job, who knows? So as we go along here and we kind of wrap up today's show and we continue on in our day, I want you to think about where you are in your life. Where are you unstable? Where do you feel like things are just out of balance? And although we oftentimes want to not think about that because we just want to have a good Saturday or a good weekend, I want you to think about that, because when we can look at ourselves in the mirror, when we can face confrontation, when we can look at what is not working, that's when we have an opportunity to fix it. If we put ourselves in the phase of denial, it doesn't go anywhere. It like almost haunts us as that monkey on our back. But when you can face it, when you can put together a plan of action to bring stability in your life, that's what living full out is all about. It's about action. It's about believing in yourself, having the confidence to take a risk. You know, if you need to let go of a relationship, if you need to let go of a job, do it. Embrace something new. And if that doesn't work out, try again. Knock on doors. You're going to get no's, but you're going to get yeses too. And remember that your health is so important. So when you allow negative stresses to come into your life, negative influences, if you're up all night worrying about something, if you've got something heavy on your heart, that will come back to cause stress for health conditions later. I don't want that for you. I want you to feel free, feel light, feel love every day of your life. So to do that, you have to sit down with yourself, have a heart-to-heart and say, you know what? This is my life. I'm going to own it. I'm going to take action. I'm going to do what I need to do to get to where I want to be and become your best advocate. But then don't just journey out there by yourself alone. No, take people with you. It's kind of like that caller in the first segment who was looking to move, but he was worried about leaving his family. If you invite people on your journey with you, if you allow them to be a part of those successes, now you're in it together. Trust me, there are a lot of my friends and family who listen to this show. There are a lot of people who have been my supporters over the years, and every time I get a win, we all get a win. Same goes for a girlfriend of mine who called me recently and she hit her weight goal. You know what? When she hit her weight goal, I got excited for her, and you know what? I made better food choices that day. So I won. We both won. So what I want you to do is really step out there today. Take that action in your life. Take the advice of, our Donna Hartley, love, love, love. If you lead your life with love, you will never go wrong. You just have to be able and willing to forgive others, and most of all, forgive yourself. Release that tension, release that negative energy. If things are unstable in your life, it's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just what is. It's time to turn a new page today. It's time for you to write your book. Tomorrow is a new day. So whatever you want to accomplish, it's possible. We'll be back next week with a very special guest. I'm not going to give it all away, but trust me, you want to come back next week and further get inspired. And again, our lines are open for you to call in, 800-333-0001. I want to thank our entire Living Full Out family here. We have Rich and Mindy and everybody who is behind the scenes working to put the show together. We all wish you a great day. Here's to you living your life full out.